It was bizarre, darling.
We haven't seen you for so long.
Oh, it's
Thank
been too
you for
long.
coming to see
I'm
us.
back home.
He's back where he
Yes.
belongs. Oh,
Love
can
it.
I say, we're loving the facial hair. Now, you've been playing Miss Hannigan. Miss Hannigan doesn't have a beard.
Well, she did it on occasion.
Oh, did she? With a little shadow.
No, I'm playing Hook in Peter Pan at the Wickham Swan, so I have to grow this. Because I'm allergic to the glue.
Oh,
see,
yes.
darling,
So
you know.
if you can grow your own.
Well, yes, and
know,
I can. It's
and you can.
homegrown, and
It's
it's all
fantastic.
real, darling.
Handing over Miss Hannigan to Jodie Prenger.
Yes,
Have you
I
given her
know.
lots of tips?
She's seen me in a corset and a pair of falsies, darling. And
Lucky lady.
Lucky her.
What a series it's been. It's been incredible.
It's been...
We're not at the end yet.
It's been absolutely fantastic, and I've been desperate to come on. You know, I wanted to come on weeks ago to explain everything, because the only time I ever really get to have a chance to, you know, really be myself and explain how, you know, what I think about everything. And I have to say, this year has been exceptional, and I'm so pleased with the final 6 couples.
I know,
I really
so
am.
good. Do you think it makes it more, yes, exactly, more fascinating when they're sharing the top spot? They really are sharing that.
Well, if you consider, really, we give 8s, 9s, 10s, you know, and it's really, I think, going to be up to the audience at home to decide this year. It really is. They're so close. I mean, it's really just unfortunate if you get a terrible dance, you know, if you're absolutely dreadful at one dance, if you're terrible at the Charleston, you get that in the final, that could be it, you know. So I think Saturday's going to be really mind-blowing,
Very
actually.
exciting.
Yeah.
Because, to be fair, you've chosen one of each couple's dances
Yes.
to demonstrate how much you've loved them. First of all, Helen and Aliash and their Viennese waltz from last week, which was exquisite. Why did you love it?
Well, I just loved it. It just suited them so beautifully. And this is what Strictly's all about. When you see, you know, someone do a terrible dance and they come back and they do something like this, it does, you know, give your life purpose, I think, you know. And, you know, my life has been dance, you know, and it's
yes,
just
it
so...
still
It is really emotional to see some people come up through the ranks, you know, and
She's never
perform
done a
beautifully.
terrible dance, though, has she? She had a little slip up the steps.
Well,
in
that's
Charleston.
terrible.
Terrible, OK, all right.
I didn't like her Charleston, as a matter of fact. I don't want to see that ever again.
No,
I would definitely
Just
see
like
that.
it is. But you like that one. OK, Jay and Aliona and their jive, which has possibly been the dance of the series. Everybody mentions it. Again, what did you particularly think was so good about it?
What blew me away was his technique and the fact that he played it so cool, it was calm, it was collected. He was on it entirely and completely watchable. It's one of those where my pen actually goes down and I start actually enjoying the dance, you know?
So good.
And beautiful feet. I mean, just all the retraction was there. I mean, it was just mind-blowing.
I know, and the gear, I love the way it changed gear, and then the music changed, and you're thinking,
it was
this
great.
could not get any better. I thought my head might implode. Our lovely viewers also sent in some questions for you. Molly would like to know, what inspired you to be a dancer?
Well, I was a porky child, and...
Thank you.
and I wanted to lose weight, so I went to these Jane Fonda workout classes, what they thought they were.
Showing his age
and,
now.
and it turned out to be a jazz ballet class, and then I started classical, and I just picked it up really, really easily, and I loved it, and I flew with it, and I really wanted to become a professional dancer, so I just worked really, really hard from the age, really, was quite late, 13, 14, 15, and then by 17 I was in West Side Story as a professional dancer. I was amazed. I mean, I kept my training up constantly, of course, you know, every morning. That had to happen over the years, because I did have wild arms. You know.
Right, I wonder what you were saying. Wild arms. Yes, I've got those. Claire would like to know, would you ever swap seats with any of the other judges and sit next to Bruno?
No.
Never. All knew the answer
No,
to
all that touchy-feely, standing up, sitting down, falling off chairs. I can't bear it, to be honest. I mean, that's my honest opinion.
He loves him, really. She loves him, really. Anita and Gleb, their Paso Doble in Blackpool. It was such a moment. Let's remind ourselves here. You loved this.
I did love it, and the reason I loved it so much, I mean, she's wearing a red dress, what I would put her in on stage. There were great big red material everywhere. It was fantastic. Gleb's performance, I thought, was brilliant. Her performance was brilliant. I didn't give it a 10.
Yes.
I could have. I was considering it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, because it technically, for me, wasn't strong enough. She had beautiful hands, absolutely beautiful hand shaping, but I thought the shoulders were raising a little bit, you know, her footwork wasn't quite placed. It could be improved. Now, if she gets to the final and she wants to do that dance again, which I would suggest, then I would go into the training room, like, now and start working on it.
OK, Anita,
it could
noted.
Be a 10.
All right, it could be... How exciting. Yeah, we can't wait to see that 10 pedal. We need to see it. We haven't seen it yet. OK, on to Georgia and Giovanni. You've chosen their American Smooth, also from Blackpool. And why did you love this one so much?
The dress, mainly. I wanted to be in it.
At least he's honest.
No, well, actually, I always thought she had trouble with ballroom because she's a pint-sized dancer, and ballroom tends to look better on tall people like your gorgeous Ian Waite. You know, he has the length of bone, darling, as we go on about. And that really elongates the line, and that's really difficult if you're a smaller person. And she managed in that to get the shoulders down, to get a lovely neckline, to get a really long line with her arms and everything. It was just gorgeous to see, and she's becoming what I call a 10 dancer, someone that's really good at the Latin as well as the ballroom, and she's worked hard to get there.
She really has.
She really
I know,
has.
I can't wait to see her being belled tomorrow. Each week, our couples stand beside Tess and timidly await the inevitable Craig critique, and he never fails to deliver.
The cold front blew in, darling. You did not survive it, sadly. That would qualify for the World Dad Dancing Championship. 21 and a half hours training wasted, sadly.
Look at that face. Oh, dear me.
Your thumb was sticking up. Oh, go on. I felt like you were being operated by strings or something. It was bizarre, darling. Cha, disaster. Oh, be quiet, honestly. Oh.
I think you've been in quite a good mood this series. We've got another question in. This is from Alex. Thank you, Alex. Have you ever felt guilty, Craig, about giving negative comments to any of the couples during the competition this year?
No, never.
No.
Absolutely never, because the only reason I give them a critique is so they come back the following week spectacularly. You know, I wouldn't bother criticising someone just for the sake of it. I think I should be only there to help them achieve perfection, you know, and that's what I'm looking for, and I know that's what they're aiming for. Everyone wants those 10s. I mean, the other 3 are just going to hand them out willy-nilly. But, of course, you know, a 10 for me has to be something that just makes me throw my pen and paper away and just go, I love that.
And leap on the desk, hopefully,
Absolutely.
for all of us. Katie and Anton, you have chosen their dance from week 4. It was their Viennese waltz, and you thought this was beautiful.
It was. Just the footwork, the amount of rotation. I mean, this is Anton in his element, at his best, and this is and that is just permeating through her entire body, and you could see it. She was absolutely almost flawless through it, and it's just so wonderful to see someone come from a non-dance background to be in the arms of someone like Anton. You know, I mean, we're so used to him dragging people around the floor.
I know.
You know, ending up in a screaming heap, and having to be a hideous comedian with everything. And it's just so wonderful to see him dance,
I know,
isn't
look,
it?
he
It's
might get into the
lovely.
semi-final. He could go to the final, Craig.
Well,
This is
I
so
mean, you
exciting.
know, well, that's
It's up
going
to
to
the
take
people.
a bit, though.
OK.
actually.
Kelly and Kevin, their Paso Doble you chose from Movie Week when they were Hermione and Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Kelly's still giving, isn't she? She's been in the bottom 2 twice. She's still fighting. She's got great spirit.
I mean, you have to remember this is half a popularity contest as well. No matter how well you dance, you still have to be loved by the audience. The audience have 50% of the vote. And at this point in the competition, that is enormous, especially if we're handing out 9s and 10s. There will be a difference of 1 point between some of the couples, and it will be up to the generosity of our great British nation, darling, to make the right decision and choose the right dancer. So I chose that because she was brave. Getting up and dancing on the table is not easy.
I think there may be a table tomorrow.
Jodie Prenger would know all about that. She's danced on many a table.
She's danced on many a table. I know you've danced on tables as well. All
I
the
have
stories
indeed.
I could tell you.
The BBC bar, darling, wouldn't be the same without me in it.
Wouldn't be the same. The very best of luck with Captain Hook and the next
Thank
3
you.
shows. It's so lovely to see you. Craig Howard. Now, the world of Broadway will dominate this weekend's shows. Ian Waite has been